Hello, hello, my beautiful empresses. Welcome back to Embody Your Empress. My name is Sarah King, the host of the podcast and founder of Empress Nation. This is the place you want to be if you are opening up to new perspectives, finding out who you truly are, and being brave and courageous to delve into new things. Today, we are joined with a very special guest with a nickname, aka the Health Hero. Tim James joins us here, and I am so excited just for this boost of energy today, because even flicking through his social media, I got this rush of energy coming through. So, welcome today, Tim.
Oh, thank you for having me here, Sarah. Appreciate it.
Oh, you're so welcome. I would love to hear in your own words who you are as a human, as a soul, and how you came to be here on this health journey.
Who I am as a human. Well, I think I'm just trying to discover more of my true natural self. That's the path I've been on now for 15 years. I know the end game is, we're all at our core 100% unconditional love, and so
Mhm.
it's just remembering that and re-experiencing that through this lifetime. So it's been a lot of fun. I wasn't always the health hero. I had, I grew up actually on a small farm, and we did cattle and hay, alfalfa hay and grass hay. And, we had a big garden and was outside a lot of work to do on the farm. And, I really enjoyed it. We rode motorcycles and cows and it was all, we pretty much had everything between our neighbors. We had all of it: chickens, ducks, goats. I mean, we had it all: horses, cows, all of it, and pigs and everything. And just had a good time. I ended up playing baseball at a pretty high level for about 30 years, and so I was an athlete. And then I kind of got older and had a wife and kids and a mortgage, and I was a financial advisor running around at 3 offices, highly stressed out. And I found myself eventually not even going to the gym anymore. And that was something that I'd done for years, and I just didn't go. I didn't have the energy to do it anymore. I got a big belly. I gained 42 pounds. I had eczema all over my body, cracking and bleeding. Um, I had acid reflux really bad. I was eating Tums and Rolaids 24/7. Wasn't sleeping that great, but the worst part was then I started pooping blood, and that went on for about 2.5 years, and it was very painful to go number 2. I had severe gut dysbiosis, I found out later. I just kinda stuck my head in the sand and was hoping that would go away. I did go to the doctor and, I got prescribed drugs and stuff, but I remember I never took them. But one of them said, rectal bleeding was a side effect.
No
And then
way.
I'm like, I already have that. So it's like, I'm not taking that. So I just kind of, bumbled along, and my world was kind of shrinking. I wouldn't take my shirt off in public anymore, not because I was overweight, because pretty much everybody else is in America, but more because of my skin. It was getting all, it was just crusty and bleeding, and it was on my knees and my elbows and my arms, and it was just all over. It was just it. I didn't. It sucked. I didn't like it. And I was tired. I was very tired. It was just trying to get through the day type thing. Stimulating myself with coffee and things.
Mm.
And then it got worse. Then on a vacation, my wife is from Peru, so her dad was a medical doctor, ran a huge clinic in Lima, Peru, and he'd never been on a vacation. And so this was his first vacation in 30 some years of being a medical doctor. And we picked this spot just northern Peru, south of Ecuador, called Tumbes, and a private beach, private thing. It was awesome. I mean, even the beach was awesome. Like the seashells in the sand looked like they should have been in the Smithsonian. They were real nice. It was like just really cool stuff, and you're just like, what? Like, this is what beaches are supposed to look like. I mean, these shells were unreal. But everybody, picks that stuff up when they see them, right? And you don't see an all natural one. And I thought that was really cool. And then we did some deep sea fishing. So we rented a boat while we were there, went out, and I was getting sick. And the captain and her dad thought I was motion sickness. And I was like, look, guys, I don't get motion sickness. We fish off the Oregon coast all the time. Every year I go to Hawaii, we try to go out and catch an ahi tuna, and I don't get sick. He's got motion sickness. Well, I got back home, and about 4 hours later, we're sitting in our little villa there, and her dad walks by me. He's like, "Oh my God!" And he comes up. He's a doctor, so he just goes into doctor mode, and he's like, "Oh," he goes, "We have to get you to the hospital. You need surgery." Oh, okay. So we're packing everything up, and I'm not very much help because I can barely move. I mean, when I'm walking, I'm bent over at a 90-degree angle. I can't walk erect. And so we get our stuff loaded. We go down to the airport, and I miss the plane by like 20 minutes. And there's only one plane out of this place every 24 hours. And so he's like, "Well, we can't wait around. You're going to die." So they rented a van, and we drove 6 hours down down this bumpy ass road down the coastline of Peru, um, to get to the nearest hospital in a town called Piura. And let me tell you what, like, what I'm about to describe, a lot of women are like, that sounds like childbirth. So I'm in excruciating pain. The road's very bumpy. I got my head on my wife's lap, and it's just like bump, 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 bump. 6 hours of that. And pretty much every bump felt like a knife pick in my gut, just stab, stab, stab. So when I got there, I'm completely drenched in sweat, so much that the paper in my wallet was wet, just to give you an idea. I mean, it was the most horrible thing that I've ever been through in my life, still to this day. And so we get to this hospital, and now I'm in the examination room, and there's like 500 bugs flying around in my head. I mean, this is like third world, low, all the instruments look like they're from the 50s and the 60s. And I'm thinking, well, this ain't good. And then I'm also thinking, I've been paying for my health insurance all my life, never used it, and now I can't even use it, and I'm down here. So that sucks. So he didn't want him to operate on me there. He was setting up an operation room there. So he booked the next commercial flight out of town, and then he had them dope me up with a bunch of stuff so I could walk up upright. And then I just stayed behind him, and my wife was behind me. They kind of sandwiched me and got me through the thing, and they were just like, "Oh, he don't speak English," because it was all Spanish, and I just kind of had a hat on with my hat down, and just, you know, I was basically being life flighted to emergency surgery, but nobody
Mhm.
knew. And her dad and my wife sat right next to me and watched me.
Mhm.
By the way, you're not supposed to do that. They don't allow that.
Definitely
But
not.
that's what Yeah, but that's what we did. So then we landed in Lima, take a taxi, more bumps, bump, 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 and we get out, and they grab me, throw me on the gurney, boom, I go into surgery. And they saved my life. And this is where Western medicine shines. That's what it was born out of. It was born out of war. It was born out of crisis care, people getting shot and shrapnel and getting their legs blown off and all this stuff. And these doctors and nurses would save their life. It's critical care. Accidents, necessary part. But what put me there was processed foods, I found out later, and a broken medical system trying to give you synthetic drugs to solve a solution. Nobody has a synthetic drug deficiency, right? And these things have never, they just don't work. I mean, you mask a symptom, but you never get to the root cause and then fix yourself so you can actually be healthy. And so I learned a couple of things. Number one, I don't ever want to get into surgery again. I was very thankful they were there to save my life, and I still am today. But that's scary. Like when they put that mask on your face and you're out, and the next thing you wake up and you got tubes in you and you're in recovery. Not fun. What if the doctor had a bad day? It's like they make a lot of mistakes too. They're people, and it's just like, I just want to get out of that stuff. It's painful. You can't live your life. You're sitting in a hospital. Ruined the whole. That was the second thing. Number two, I learned is that my poor health doesn't affect just me. It affects everybody around me. So I ruined that trip for my wife and her dad. And that poor guy, he'd never been out of the hospital in 30 years he was having so much fun just sitting on the beach reading a book. And now he's back in the hospital taking care of me and right back to work. He just went right back to work. So that was the beginning of it. And I still don't know what to do. Then a friend of mine on my baseball team got cancer, and he died at age 40. And then my buddy Charles got cancer at age 43. He broke the news to me, and I thought, well, he's goner. because my aunt died of cancer, my grandma died of cancer, Calais, the baseball player buddy, died of cancer. Now my buddy Charles is going to die of cancer. And he said, "Hey, I'm going to go to this health institute in Florida called Hippocrates, their detox nutrition center deal. And can you go with me and support me?" And I'm sure, whatever you need, buddy. I'm in. I didn't even really know what he was talking about. I'm just like, my friend's dying. He wants me to go with him. I'm in. I want to spend time with him. And
Mhm.
I left that meeting with him. I was very upset because I knew I was going to lose him. And so January 1st, 2011, we fly from Portland, Oregon to West Palm Beach, Florida to the Hippocrates Wellness Center. And day one, um, my acid reflux was gone. Basically, what they did was they just started having us drink purified water. Like, go figure. Put some lemon and lime juice in it. We made wheatgrass shots and drank those, and then they'd hand us this big 16-ounce green juice. We made out of like cucumber and celery and sunflower and pea sprouts, fresh cut. So it's all these living foods, and they had a big salad bar. And it was all sprouts, sprouted nuts, sprouted seeds, sprouted grains, sprouted beans. The whole concept there was plant-based living food, high vibe food. And my thing was like, where's the freaking meat at? Because I grew up hunting and fishing. I actually thought I was going to die without meat, but I realized that they had been in business for 61 years at that point, and you don't stay in business that long if you're killing people. So you can't really kill people with a sprout. I figured that out later. And so, we went through their process, and then actually the first class was called internal awareness. And this is where the whole thing shifted for me, because I was thinking, how could this little podunk place in Florida be helping people with, like my friend, with cancer? Because we have millions of dollars being raised and race for the cure, and the best minds are at it and all this stuff. And the best doctors have been trying to do this forever. And come on. I go, whatever. So, I want my friend to live, but my belief system was such, it was programmed to think that it wasn't possible, right? And let alone you could do it with natural stuff or yourself, heal yourself of cancer. So we go there and we do all the intake forms and the blood work, and they look at our blood. And we're an hour at this class called internal awareness. And this doctor comes out, and he's just jacked. He's got muscles all over, and he just turned 50. And I was like, what? I'm like, that guy's 50? And I was like, he maybe looked 40. And that was kind of the thing. The people that had worked at that institute for 10, 20, 30 years, they looked 10, 15, 20 years younger than everybody else. And so, success leaves clues. And I'm just like, wow. And I was like, he looks really good, And then he just talked so much common sense. And he explained from the time we eat food, you chew it, how the enzymes are activated in the mouth and how those load and go into the stomach, and then the pepsin and the hydrochloric acid. And then it goes through that 1 foot magic tube called the duodenum, and it goes from acid to alkaline. Then it dumps into the small intestine. You have all these hair-like structures called villi that move the food through you and pull the nutrients in, and then out through the colon, and boom, it finishes with water. And so I never learned any of that stuff. Really, I must not have been paying attention in biology class, but couldn't remember much of it. And I was like, wow, that's interesting information. And he's like, here's the problem, though. And this is the first big takeaway for your listeners. The average person has 6 to 12 pounds of impacted fecal material in the colon. It's just, that's average. Some have less, some have more, but the average is 6 to 12 pounds of this life energy robbing, disease causing garbage. And that's what it is. And it's from processed foods and stress and chemicals and all this stuff, and it just builds up in the large intestines walls, the colon. And then it creates a different environment, right? It changes the environment. Because the colon is a waste removal system. Its job is to extract final little bits of nutrients, pull the water out of the what was there, and then exit, right? Exit the waste matter. And what's happened is a lot of it just slowly accumulated over the years, like paint on a wall, and eventually it's just built up. And then I was like, what? I was like, well, okay, well, whatever. And then he was trying to tell us to do colon hydrotherapy. You ever heard of that?
Yep. Done it. Experienced it. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
They call it colonics or colon hydrotherapy. It's hydros water. So it's really not that big of a deal. you have a tube inserted in your rear end, and then water gently goes in and out for an hour. You basically just go to the bathroom over and over again, and it washes it out.
Mm.
And I was not going to do that. Like that was I went into super fear mode. I'm a guy. Nobody's going to touch me
Yeah.
down there. This is
Yeah.
weird.
The
I'm
first time is in
embarrassed.
contemplation. Yep.
Yeah, that's it. And I know because I've become a big proponent of it now. So and I'm very convincing. Yet half the people are never like I was. They're not going to do it. So we developed a solution for them, but I digress. Okay. So anyway, so I I'm not going to do this. I remember elbowing Charles and saying, "Hey, buddy, I came here to help you with your cancer thing, but I ain't doing that. There's no way. You got cancer. I don't need to do it." And then the doctor knew that people like me were going to be thinking the way I thought because he said, "Here, let me show you some virtual colonoscopies. 3 people that are unhealthy and one person that's been on this lifestyle for quite a while. Now you can see the difference between unhealthy colons and a healthy colon from the inside." And so he played a camera of this woman who's like 24 years old. She had like Graves' disease or Hashimoto's or something. She also had thrush, which is a yeast infection. Now, I don't know about you, but I haven't spent my life looking inside of people's colons. But in my mind, I'm going to see like a pink colon, the
Mhm.
lining, and some brown stuff, poop. That
Mm.
was what I thought. And then guess what was in this gal's colon? White
Mm.
and yellow, just completely covered, overgrown with yeast. And I was like, "Oh, that doesn't look good." Right? And then they went to the next person. It was a 65-year-old male that had stage 4 colon cancer. Inside of his colon was black,
Mm.
like midnight tar, and white worms crawling around. So he had parasites. And then everybody was just like, "Oh," you heard the whole class is like, at the same time. Everybody's like, "Yeah," because most of us had never even didn't even know about this stuff. I mean, you hear about it, but you think it's some third world thing, and let alone see it from one of
Mm.
their patients that had been visiting the same place that we were. And we're all like, "Oh," and then I'm like, "What?" And then the doctor turned around and said, "Hey, for those of you that think this parasite thing is a third world thing, far from it." He's like, 50% of you are going to easily, over the next 3 weeks on this program, you're going to see these parasites exiting in the stool. Some of it will crawl out of your skin, and we're just like, "What?" I mean, we're just like freaked out, right? And he said it's not just these big tapeworms. Sometimes there's hookworms and pinworms. Some of these will like come out. Your stools will be fuzzy white. And he goes, "There's other ones. There are amoebas that are very small, and you won't even see them. That are all in the body, intercellularly, in the blood and the muscle tissue and the fat." I'm just like, "Okay, maybe I need to get one of these things." Then they showed I think it was like a 45-year-old female with breast cancer. And inside of her colon was pretty much black like tar, a little bit of brown stuff, and didn't look good. Then they showed the healthy woman, and it was like pink colon with brown stuff in it. Just, okay, yeah, that's what it's supposed to. I got up and I went and signed up in the middle of class. You're supposed to wait. He's like, "Tim, we're gonna do that later." I'm like, "I'm doing it right now.
Mm.
I'm getting this stuff. I wanted it out of me because I knew
Mm.
like, because he's like, you know how much pop and candy and enchiladas and lasagna and pizza and all this processed food you've had. And I'm like, yeah, there's nobody in here to take more of it than me. That's what I was
Mm.
thinking. I'm
Mm.
screwed. I got worms. So I next day I go to the deal. They weigh me. I do the colonic. I dropped 11 pounds of impacted funk and gunk and junk in 1 hour session. And the record at the time was one lady had lost like, I think it was like 26 or 27 pounds in one session, like
Whoa.
27 pounds. And I was like, "What weighs 27 pounds? Like a medium sized dog or like a 25-pound dumbbell?" So I was like, "That's heavy. That's like a lot of stuff." This woman had packed up inside of her. That was their world record at the time. I don't know if somebody's beat it yet, but a lot of these people are walking around with this. And it's just like, imagine having a medium sized dog fall out of your butt. And it's all just gross, putrefying garbage. And so the next day, we're having lunch, these big sprout salad deals, and this woman has a parasite crawling out of her eye. And I was like, "You have a parasite crawling out of your eye." She's like, "Oh my God." And I'm like, "You don't let it fall in your salad." She runs to the bathroom, takes care of it, and all that stuff. And then, I've had people say, that's BS. No, no. And I'm like, well, I was there. I saw it, but why was that happening? Why that was happening was because everybody at the place, we were changing our internal terrain,
Mhm.
right? When I was when I came into there, it was what I was consuming. The beverages that I was consuming, like fruit juice, highly acidic, coffee, highly acidic, breads, pastas, pastries, tons of meat. Not that I'm not bashing on meat, because I do eat a little bit now. I used to eat a lot. But it's acid. It's just if you look at the base element of what does it create? It creates acid. Okay. And they switch you over to the highest, and it's low oxygen too. And so this is the diet they put us on, was the highest alkaline and oxygenated possible, right? So living fresh foods. And so what happens is when you clean out all that funk and gunk and junk, you're clearing it out of there, and then you flood your body with alkalinity and oxygen. The environment becomes inhospitable for harmful organisms like parasites, mold, yeast, fungus, mutagens, cancer, um, certain bacterium that shouldn't be there. It's kind of like if the garbage trucks stop running in Chicago, what happens in the alleys? The garbage piles up. In comes the bugs and the rats. They come off a strike, they get their raise, whatever. They clean up the garbage, and the bugs and the rats go away. Look at your own
Mhm.
kitchen scraps. Could you imagine never changing your garbage in your kitchen? I mean, it's gonna stink, and then bugs are gonna start flying around. I mean, that's just what happens. So that's what goes on inside of us when we eat all this processed foods and highly cooked foods. We're not having enough fresh stuff from Mother Nature where we came from. And so another analogy would be like, why the parasites leave. It's because imagine a penguin and a polar bear waking up in South Beach, Miami. They're going to jump in the ocean and go north or south and try to go to a climate that's more conducive to them.
Mhm.
That's why the parasites are exiting the body, because we had flooded the body with alkalinity and oxygen. A couple days later, um, I've been on this lifestyle now for like 4 or 5 days. And I looked at my buddy and I did our little routine. We drank our lemon lime water. We did our wheatgrass shot. We exercised, saunas, did all that stuff. And we're green juice. We're walking back to our little hut. And I was like, dude, do you feel as good as I do? And he's like, yeah, I feel awesome. I said, man, I've got energy tingling in my arms. I'm 37 at the time. I'm 52 now. And I'm like, dude, we have discovered the fountain of youth. Like, this is what everybody's looking for. And it's so simple. It's all we have to do is plug ourselves back into like nature. It's like, duh. I'm like, duh. It's like now I get it because I've actually lived it. And I said, I've talked to a bunch of people around here, bro. I'm like, dude, there's a lot of people that have healed from cancers that are way worse than yours. I'm like, you're going to heal. And he did. And his white blood cell count, which is supposed to be between 4 and 10,000 per million, was at 36. By the end of 2 weeks at the institute, it was at 24. 6 months later, 18. 6 months later, 15. 6 months later, 13. And then, boom, 2.5 years. Even before he was completely technically cancer free, him and I ran the 2012 Portland Marathon together.
Wow.
We were doing fundraising with the Lymphoma Leukemia Society. Great organization, by the way, and great people. It was funny though because all these people that we'd become friends with because we were training with them, about 30 of them. During the middle of the training, they had like a potluck, and they brought all this food, and I'm looking around at the food, and I'm like, well, shit. This is I'd learned now. I'm like, what they're eating here is what's causing the cancer. And there's such a disconnect. Imagine telling a cocaine addict that cocaine is killing them. They're going to tell you to screw off. They're going to tell you
Mm.
get out of here. And the dope of the day is now our food. Like
Mm.
because food is either going to be the healthiest thing that's going to food is medicine, like Hippocrates said, or it's going to be food is poison. The question is what are you eating? What are you feeding your children? What are you feeding yourself? Like, and
Mhm.
and I didn't know. I just didn't know, and I was highly addicted. And because I'd created all that crap inside of my colon, I'd changed the internal terrain, created this very hospitable environment for these harmful organisms, and then they started hijacking my mental pathways and steering me to more garbage and more acidic stuff because they liked it. They literally
Mhm.
take over your brain. And so I was able to break free of all that. And now it's been like 15 years and I'm 52 and I'm running around. My kids are like 22 and 25. I can still outrun them on my trail runs, which I really like to do. And I have become really, really healthy. And so my whole goal is like for the last 15 years is how can I upgrade my health? Okay. Do I have the best water? Every year or 2 or 3, I upgrade my water. What else? And I've been trying stuff. And I have an inner circle where we have a group that's been with me, some of them for 6, 7 years. We meet every Wednesday. And we opened that up last year to pretty much everybody can join now. And we found a way for people to get in for free. And we just have this awesome group. And so we become like the living laboratory. And I've been the lab rat for 15 years, trying this supplement, trying this red light, trying this PEMF mat, trying this type of exercise, different types of fasting. Today is I'm just wrapping up a 5-day dry fast. No food, no water. This is the end of 5 days. Um,
And how do you feel?
I'm exhausted. That's why when you said this guy's like got a lot of energy, I'm like, oh boy, I'm really tired today. But, I usually get hyped up. I usually can get a little bit of an energy go when I start talking about this because I know that there's at least one person on the end of this line that was like me, that was open and ready for this message, and I'm like, "I'm here for you, and I'm going to bring it," because, whew, like, just almost every thinking back to where I was with my health. Oh, I mean, well, I'm very glad that I went through that process to have I'm so grateful that, and my friend is too, that he got cancer. It was the best thing that happened to both of us because we went to that place and that's where our journey began. And I've been studying this stuff because I found out it's like, how is it possible that the food in the grocery store is killing me? That
Mhm.
shouldn't be legal. Yet it is.
Mhm.
And so
It is.
I've learned to take responsibility for myself, for my food, and for everything in my
Mhm.
life. And by doing that, I brought all the power back and it's awesome. It's awesome. So I know people are out there struggling like me. And it's like, believe me, like we make it easy. We will baby step you to greatness, baby step you back to your highest vibrational state, so that you can be we need people to be doing what they love. And it's hard to do it when you're in pain or you have no energy. So the first thing we do is we want to get people, get them tons of energy. That's the first thing. And then and then just baby step it down the road until they've completely transformed themselves.
Yeah. Well, as a woman who's 40 with 2 young kids, energy is always the topic of conversation around the school groups, the working mums group, like everything. I'm so tired. How do I get more energy? And I've met my hands up. I'm addicted to the caffeine hit. I am a coffee addict. And when you were talking, like when you said you went to a retreat and you were having these things, and I wrote down, oh, normal food. And then I'm like, but they're not normal for us in everyday life because we're not eating beautiful, fresh, healthy food that nature intended. We are eating stuff from the pantry and stuff from the refrigerator. And that is now our normal food, which is not good for our bodies, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just like, how do you feel? Like, I have went and I have taken I take groups of like 20 people at a time to grocery stores. I can take them to the local health food store in their town, the best one where the people have um a love for their community and they're trying to provide the best stuff, and 85% of the stuff in that store is not fit for human consumption, and they're trying to do it right. You go to a big grocery store, you're under 1% of that food you could actually eat. The rest of it is literally slowly killing you, and you don't know it. You don't have the connection yet. You haven't read the labels. You haven't researched what those ingredients are and actually what they do to people. And some of the stuff isn't even on the ingredients. I remember seeing this one lady. She comes up behind me with her basket and her little child. And, I'm like the Terminator when I go into like a grocery store. I'm scanning everything and I'm looking for new products so I can go see what's new. So I can check it out and I can read the ingredients and see if there's something that I could add. Because in 2011, when I made this transition, there wasn't a lot of stuff. It's a lot easier now. But what's happens now is what sucks is these big companies started buying out the good ones. Like, I don't know if you guys seen this, but like a long time ago, here all you have to do is type into your browser who purchased, and then type in your company. So I'll put Tom's of Maine. So Tom's of Maine was a toothpaste company that came out fluoride free. And guess who bought them? Colgate Palmolive.
No way.
2006 for $100 million in cash. And now you can go into Walmart and it says Tom's of Maine without fluoride. And then right below it, Tom's of Maine with fluoride. It's back. Right? So that shelf space on all those those shelves in all the stores in America is very expensive real estate because it makes money.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Another one that was really frustrating is I typed in who purchased. I already know who it is. Siete. You know that you guys get those chips, those cassava root based chips.
Oh, no.
You never got those? So
So like the
cassava
healthy.
root, these chips came out. They were kind of like a healthy chip.
Okay.
Well, they got purchased by PepsiCo for
Mm.
$1.2 billion.
Yeah.
October 1st, 2024.
Oh my
So you
God.
have to be careful, because if these companies start doing well, they're going to get bought out.
Mm-hmm. And
Because
those
most,
price tags, if it's worth $1 billion, it ain't going to be
and then
helpful.
they start slipping their stuff in there that you don't want in your
Mm-hmm.
body. So this is where we got to teach people to first off, c- 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 it's called CSAs here, community sourced agriculture, where people get together and they buy in bulk and get lower cost, and they meet in
Okay.
somebody's garage and it's all shipped there and they pick up their stuff. There's also farmers markets,
Mm-hmm.
growing your own garden, growing your own sprouts in your home. Very easy. Anybody can do this. You can even do it without dirt. You can start with red lentils, French lentils, green lentils, mung beans, and your kids are going to freaking love it.
Yeah.
Like, and you're going to get your kids involved in what they're eating and bring that connection back. And even if you're not a gardener, grow some tomatoes out back. They usually grow pretty easy. And then next year, add something else, and add a new plant every year. And in 10 years, you're going to have, maybe you probably have more than that. You're going to have so much fun with it, and you're going to grow your own food. And then when you taste the food that you make at home, grown yourself fresh, it's freaking delicious. I'm a chef. Ask any chef, how do you make the food? How did you make it so good? They put the best ingredients in it. It's
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it. That's 90% of the chef's problem is ingredients. If you can get the ingredients fresh, boy, is it going to taste amazing. It's going to taste awesome. And it's going to be food as medicine. Let thy medicine be thy food and thy food be thy medicine. So you're either going to give yourself medicine every day, or maybe some type of food that's neutral, or some food that's very destructive to you. And the question is why are we doing this? Because our mom and dad did, and society's doing it, and our friends are
Mm-hmm.
doing it. So we're just kind of going along. I want people to wake up and take the reins to their health and understand that, like, you are in control. You know what to do. You've just been misled. And you need to shake that off like a dog and use your natural instincts. Right?
Yeah.
Should I, look at a tomato that's in the store. It says vine ripened versus picking one off your aunt's garden. Look at it. You guys know the taste and the difference. It's not even close. And what they're doing to vegetables, the genetic modifications, the gene editing, crazy stuff. We just found out last year that for years, a whole bunch of vegetables that you would all know they're all been genetically engineered with venoms from like snakes and stuff like that. And
What?
this is like Bear, University of Louisiana. I saw the whole chart and everything, and they have patents. They've got patents on all this stuff. And so, and go look it up. Like, it's not. So the bottom line is we have to, like, just take the control back on our food and buy local, buy local, buy local, and not buying things that are shipped a long ways.
Well, that's a big problem here. Strawberries are growing about 40 kilometers from where I live, and then they're packaged. Then they are sent about 1,500 kilometers away, put in refrigeration for the supermarkets, shipped back up about 6 months later, and then sold to us. And they taste like absolute rubbish. There is no taste. And I'm like, but I'm so close to them. Why can't they just filter them out? and it's been
Yeah,
like,
they probably spray them with ethylene too, and then
oh,
most of them,
yeah.
they're probably not getting strawberries to taste really sweet, they need a form of calcium called vaterite. It's hexagonally shaped, and, just like water is supposed to be naturally structured in a hexagonal form, and so they probably have, it's called vaterite, they probably have, like, calcites and aragonite forms of calcium in the soil. So if you have we have a structuring I know about this because we have a water structuring system we brought on about a year or so ago, and when our farmers water with that system, the strawberries are delicious because it
Mhm.
converts the forms of calcium, like aragonite to vaterite, the hexagonal, and then it's works perfectly. And it works good with us too, because we want to be hexagonal is kind of the go-to as far as the shapes and minerals and water. It's just a natural structure.
Oh my gosh. Tim, what are 5 things people can do right now to change their body's health?
Well,
5.
the first thing I'm gonna tell you is what I know because I keep interviewing that inner circle group of people and asking them that have been with me for a long time, what was the one thing that you've done
Mhm.
that totally transformed your health? And 90% of the time it was I followed what you said, Tim, and I drank those 2 concentrated, clean, no sugar green juices twice a day. That was the key. And one of the reasons why this works so well, so that's what we try to do with everybody. I don't care who it is. Now, some of
Mhm.
you, it might not work because you might have a bunch of allergies and there's a whole bunch of ingredients. So just we have a green juice. We love it. It's doctor formulated. I have a lot of other doctors now that are coming on, loving it, and other people, but we have thousands of people have been taking it. I don't care what green juice you get, just start getting one and then you can compare ours later if you want. But I also made my own. But most people won't make their own and clean the juicer. Number one reason why? I don't want to clean the damn juicer. Okay. I had over 5,500 people to my home. And when they'd show up, we'd make fresh pressed wheatgrass shot and I'd hand it to them. And then I'd make them a 16-ounce green juice, just like at the Institute. Then I would teach them a detox class. And then we'd sit down and have dinner together like a family. And around the questions would go and I'd answer stuff. And people would just talk and build community. It was awesome. 5,500 people to my house. I have a little bit of experience in this area. I sold thousands of juicers for those juicing companies because people just saw my transformation. They looked at me, my before picture. I was a big guy, now I'm skinny again. And then my buddy healed himself of cancer. My other buddy, Adam, dropped 80 pounds in 90 days doing this. And so we sold a lot of juicers, but 1 out of 10 people would stick with the juicer. 9 out of 10 would stick the juicer in the bottom of the cupboard. Number one answer, I found this out later and I was pissed because I knew I'd failed these people because they didn't get to go to Hippocrates like I did and get that full immersion and was like, oh my God, I have to do this. I'm going to commit to my buddy who's dying of cancer. Yeah, bro, I'll juice twice a day. And I did, and I got super healthy. But most people aren't going to do it. Only 1 out of 10 would do it, and most of those had stage 4 cancer because their back was against the wall and they had a gun to their head. So
Mhm.
I had to rethink this. So I had to go to the next best thing was we wanted to make a concentrated juice powder as close to a fresh pressed juice as possible. So what we did, the first
Mhm.
ingredient is wheatgrass juice, not wheatgrass blades ground up, but the actual juice extract concentrated 21 to 33 to 1. Just to give you an example, the whole thing's doctor formulated. It's like an indigenous person grabbed everything with science wrapped around it,
Mhm.
massively concentrated. It's equivalent. One bag has the equivalent of 150 pounds of vegetable nutrition in it. Each scoop is 5 pounds. We'll put ours up against any in the market. But again, if you want to make your own fresh pressed juice or get a green juice somewhere, just start doing green juice. Now, the reason why it works so darn good is because 85% of the nutrients have been farmed out of the soil. They're just not there. Most people are walking around on 15% fuel. This is why you're tired. This is why you have to caffeinate yourself over and over again. 5 hour energy drinks and Red Bull and Monster drinks and what's it, Mountain Dew and pop and all this garbage. The reason why is because your cells are starving for nutrition. No different than a starving child in Africa, except you have excess calories and they don't. So,
Mhm.
what this does is it floods those cells with the 85% that's missing very easily. And you do it in the morning on an empty stomach. 20 minutes, your energy pops and it's sustainable. It lasts 4 to 6 hours. There is no crash like the caffeines.
Mm-hmm.
And then you do it again a second time around 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, a half an hour to an hour before dinner. You do another one. You drink another green juice, and it floods the cells with all this nutrition again. Now the cells are starting to, for lunch and dinner, they're going to turn off the hunger signals. You're not going to be able to eat as much food. In fact, when you do the green juice twice a day, your grocery bill will be cut in half. You
Mm-hmm.
can literally only eat half as much food. Watch. It works every single time. And so your grocery bill drops, pays for the greens, and then some. So there's no cost. So it's a no-brainer to not do this. And then after that, the other thing is that the average person is only drinking about 1 liter of water a day. Okay. You should be having about 3. So if you drink a green juice in the morning and you drink another one with a liter of water, what are you also doing? You're getting your
Hydrated.
hydration, water, right? So now you're doing 2 things. And water is the first thing that we teach in this book called Our 4 Core Secrets. That was the first thing. It's like, what could people do that makes the most difference, that changes their life with the least amount of effort? It was adding more water to their life, purified water and restructured water now. And so you're not only getting the blast of the 85% nutrients that's missing in your food chain twice a day, but you're also getting what? You're getting the water for hydration, to hydrate the lymphatic system, so the garbage removal system, to hydrate your brain so you have more think capability, to hydrate your cardiovascular system so your blood can pump better, to hydrate your gastrointestinal system so you can digest foods better and eliminate waste better. It's just better, okay? And now here's the big one. Once you do this, that dinner is going to be half as much. What does that mean? Well, that means you have half as much to digest, which means that when you go to sleep, you're going to be able to get into a deep REM, rapid eye movement sleep, faster and better and longer. And so you're going to get out of what most people are, it's called shallow sleep syndrome, where you might get 7, 8, 9 hours of sleep, but you wake up exhausted. Okay. It's because the quality of your sleep is crap. And one of the reasons it's crap is you got too much food, actually processed foods I would call crap, in your stomach digesting. Your body has to complete digestion before it can go into rapid eye movement sleep. It can't do both. So by doing this, it cuts back on the amount of these 2 green juices. It cuts back on the amount of food for that dinner portion. And you're going to get a much deeper restive, restorative sleep. And you're going to wake up and eventually you're not going to feel so tired. And the energy is going to come back. And that's the snowball. You want to push that snowball over the hill and get it rolling the other side, and you think it's a big thing to do. No, there's a snowball called 2 green juices a day with purified water. And if it's setting on the edge, and all you got to do is tip it over. All you have to do is do that every day. And that's it. That's how we start people, is do that one little thing. And just make sure those green juices don't have sugar in them. That's the most important thing. We don't want to put a bunch of crap sugar in you because it's acidic.
It's so achievable. It's so achievable for anyone out there. Like, how can you find an excuse not to do that? 2 green juices, and it's going to shift everything. It
Yeah,
is
and there's
amazing.
gonna be some people out there, they're gonna be I get it, they're carnivore, and I've got a bunch of carnivore people that are singing accolades about this system. It's because this isn't like made up stuff either. This is like, it's the one thing that I learned that they've done over 700,000 people, 71 years clinical studies, giving them 2 green juices a day versus 1. And they told us emphatically on the Take It Home program, if you're not doing 2 green juices a day, do not expect the same results. You're not on the protocol. So that was the one piece that I brought back from them that I've implemented, and I don't miss. In
Yeah.
fact, I went up fishing with a buddy of mine a few years ago with my sons in Alaska, and he was 125, 30 pounds overweight. And I'm like, he's going to die. Like, people don't get old, heavy people don't get really old. Okay.
Mm.
And so I was trying to motivate him. In the morning, I was like, "Hey, John," and I just filled up my mason jar, put my scoop of green in it, shook it up. I say, "Hey, John, I never miss." And I drank my green juice. And
Yeah.
then what I do, I filled it back up with water. I put another one in it, and I shook it up again. I put it in my bag. Why? Because I knew I was going to be out in the boat at 3:30, 4
Oh,
o'clock.
yeah.
Right? Now 4 o'clock rolls around. He's like, "Hey, who wants a beer? It's beer time." And then
Mm.
I pull out my green juice. I'm like, "John, I never miss." And I drank another green juice, right? Well, good news is he finally woke up about a year ago and he's dropped 125 pounds.
Oh,
And he
darn.
called me up and he's like, "Hey, dude, all the food in the grocery store is poison."
Yeah.
I'm like, I've been telling him this stuff for like 14 years. And like, you see, but some people are not ready to receive it. They're on a literally a different frequency, a different channel. You're on channel 4, they're on channel 2. They just don't see it. They just don't see it. And so I know not everybody's ready for this message, and that's okay. But somebody is. And it doesn't really matter to me. I just know in my heart that I have to share what my experience was and get out there. And I've literally been able to turn it into a business. I'm not a financial advisor anymore. I've been a health advisor, health coaching people. That's how I started doing it. And the products came secondary because I would do all this research, find this little product mix for my clients, and I was giving it to them. And then these companies would change the ingredients. They would get bought out by these other companies. So finally, at least to get the green juice right, that's why we created it for ourselves, just for me, my family, and small little batches for my coaching students. And now it's now there's thousands of people buying our stuff. And it's been all word of mouth because we have never figured out marketing yet. We're just taking the reins on that, just like I took my health, because I've been ripped off by a bunch of people on marketing.
Mhm.
And now we're going to be able to get that out to people. So I don't care though, because we know that 2 out of people are going to have a come to Jesus moment as soon as they try this stuff. Like
Oh my
as
gosh.
soon. And I
Mm.
don't know if this will work, but just to tell you, you can look him up. It's Born Superhuman. His name's Dan Metcalf. He was an Olympic level trainer and for like 15 years. And his mom is a medical doctor who's 85 and still practicing. And his family thinks he's crazy and da, da. Well, he brought his mom, went and picked up his mom, brought her over here, and she was not feeling good. And so hopefully you can hear this. I'm gonna push play. Tell me if you can hear this.
Hey, Tim, is Dan down here. Just wanted, I'm sitting here with my mum. We were talking about the Green 85 and wanted to just let her just tell you what she thinks is out of her hands. She came over in very poor health. Now she's thriving. And Green 85 takes it every single morning. And I give her some of the Super Soldier as well, you know, 2 of the capsules. So this is my mum. This is what she thinks of Green 85.
It's actually amazing. I feel so much fitter. I can feel my body coming back to life again, and it's just the best thing I've taken. I really love it. Thanks.
There you go, mate. Thanks for all the work you're doing for providing something that's life changing, literally. So anyway, we'll talk soon.
Yeah, that just came in on January 8th.
What a testimonial. Like, that is the good
I
you're
get them
doing.
all the time. I get them all the time. We get them all the time. It's not complicated what we've done. I just don't compromise. That's the difference.
Mm.
Where
Mm.
these companies will they put the cheapest stuff they can in, but they advertise it like it's the best. And you know, there's a green company out there that they charge even more than I do for mine. But all you do is you look at like vitamin C, and you see it should say from the almond berry or from the arceola cherry or from the camu berry or from rose hips, the naturally occurring source. But it says ascorbic acid. That's a synthetic made in a laboratory. So to
Okay.
me, that's like cat poop in the brownie recipe. I'm out. I do
Mm.
not put synthetics in my body. Oh, but it's got chaga and reishi and it's got some enzymes. And see, they just literally find out what the buzzwords are,
Yeah.
build the formula, and then put them in as cheap as they can. And then they do great marketing. They sell it to people. And then people do get better. Why? Because number one, they're taking action, showing the universe that they love themselves. And the universe is going to reflect that back. Number one, you get a 30% placebo effect regardless. We even have placebo with ours because that's just the way life works. 30% of people are going to feel better. They're going to heal just from the act of doing it. Okay.
Mm.
But then you have a bunch of people that are they're now drinking more water. It gets them to drink more water. So that's good. We talked about that. That's huge, right? All
Absolutely.
right. So the question then is like, what quality do you want? And we are the highest quality that I have found in everything that we do, because I just don't compromise, and I let the products stand on themselves. We will. I just tell people compare them. That's why I'm like, just do a green juice. I don't care. Just do whatever. But eventually, give us a try. Just give us a try at least once, and be consistent with it for a month or two, and,
Give
and,
it
and
to yourself.
very consistent. Wake up in the morning and do it again in the afternoon. Set your phone so it buzzes, and then once you get the foundation back, which is what? That's that energy component. And now you'll probably believe more and think that I'm not just some green juice salesperson. I'm really trying to sell you on taking your life back. And this was one of the core foundational things that worked for me. But I know most people are not going to be able to make their own juice the way I was and grow my own sprouts and juice them. So I tried to make the next best thing. And now we've met people where they're at. And now we have a new flavor out too. So we have literally everybody covered. We have this new apple flavored, and the kids love it. 90% of people love it, and for the ones that don't, almost everybody will take the original flavor. It's a lot less sweet.
So good. You can just, if anyone's listening, head on over to your Instagram page, because it has so much information just on there. And I guess also the links to being able to purchase the juices, right?
Yeah, just the website's probably, Chemical Free Body Guy is where I'm at on Instagram, and then chemicalfreebody.com is the website. Yeah.
Perfect. So head on over there, make a change for your life. Like, this is in our hands now. This is up to us to have our eyes open and try something. Like you said, what's the least you can do? Try it for a month. Feel amazing.
Well, the one thing that sucks about people in Australia is not the people, it's shipping. And these tariffs and stuff. So, there's going to be some sticker shock on the shipping tariffs and custom fees. But we have people over there doing it. We have somebody in, like, I think in Ireland or something. They had such a great result. And then the wife had a great result. And then he got the neighbors involved and his uncle. They literally buy like 4, 5, 6, 7 grand at a time, and every quarter. They've become their own CSA with just my products.
Wow.
Which is cool. So we're looking for distributors in Australia. So if anybody wants to, Sarah, if you want to be a distributor, let us know.
I'll let you know.
You should probably try the products first.
I definitely should try them first.
Yeah.
Well, I love it, Tim. We're going to have to wrap it up there today. It's been such a good conversation. And just one last thing, like, where is the best people? If people want to get to you and part of your community, what's the best way they can do that? Just the website?
Again, that's chemicalfreebody.com. That's chemicalfreebody.com. My podcast is on there. It's on all the channels. It's called Tim James Upgraded, because I'm always upgrading. I'm never going to stop. And that's free information. That's a good place to come check me out and see if you resonate with me or not in the podcast. Also, and then we have like 305 episodes out, so it's like we've been doing it a long time. Let's see what else. And then I've got the Inner Circle. That's a paid for program, but now if people are using our products on subscription where they get a discount and they're getting something every month or every 2 months or 3 months or 6 months, even if you had a tube of toothpaste, we have this triple action nano silver toothpaste that heals your gums. Even a tube of toothpaste every 6 months, you now have me free as a coach every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern.
Amazing. Take advantage of that, everyone. This has been such a fabulous conversation, Tim. Like, just opening eyes up to what is around us and what is available to us, and the simple steps that we can choose to take to enhance our health, and how that flows on from our physical body, our energy, our sleep, the things that we are always complaining about. You have just in 50 minutes described and explained ways that we can actually support ourselves. So thank you so much.
Yep.
Thank you.
Oh, you're more than welcome. And I appreciate the listeners too.
Thank you.